Home, Chapter 6. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by Mira Rose. Artwork provided by XAA on Tumblr. You can find a link to the artist's Tumblr in the description box below. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more MariChat fanfiction and hit the bell to stay up to date on the latest parts of your favorite fanfictions, including this one. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment in the comment section. If you're still listening to this opening message instead of just skipping it to the story, how about you comment Intro Squad in the comment section? Anyway, on to Chapter 6. Cat stared at the machine in front of him, heart pounding, and gave himself a pep talk. Okay, Cat, you can do this. A few weeks passed since the noodle incident, and he'd come over half a dozen times or so to cook with Marinette. Now, on a Sunday morning, he was going to attempt his favorite food, waffles. But this time, he wanted to make it with a twist. Red food dye to make them pink, and blueberries for spots. They'd be superhero waffles, served with strawberry syrup. He should be a chef, because it was an ingenious idea. Well, actually, a pop-up cafe did a cat noir/ladybug-themed brunch a few months back, and ladybug waffles was one of the options. It was delicious, and he'd been craving them ever since. Sure, he didn't have the same whipped topping they used, but a canister of the store-bought stuff would serve them just fine. He made his mixture with no hiccups, and now he had to overcome his final obstacle, the waffle maker. So, when do I turn it? He asked, hoping for wisdom before the storm. When the light goes blink blink, Marinette said, twisting the device with ease. Cat tried to imitate her, but it didn't turn the way he wanted it to. Oof. Well, as long as he didn't burn them, it'd be fine. Right? Right. As if by a miracle, or the grace of the miraculous, he didn't burn or otherwise maim a single waffle. Phew. Words could not express the relief that flooded through him when they plopped the last waffle on the serving plate, admiring the blueberry-spotted red breakfast. It'd be perfect if it wasn't almost noon, Marinette said, her hand lingering on Cat's shoulder blade after giving him a pat on the back. The physical intimacy was nice, and added to the home aesthetic. Homemade breakfast with someone who was physically close to him? Paradise. I've heard brunch is perfect at any time if you pair it with a mimosa, he said, grabbing the stemware he'd picked up at the corner store for €4 before coming here. But a virgin screwdriver will have to do for now. She laughed, teasing him about how pretentious calling orange juice a virgin screwdriver was, and followed him to the living room with their plates, already topped with syrup and whipped topping. It was a Sunday morning, and they had a firm date scheduled to watch cartoons together. And they had a firm date to watch. It was a Saturday morning, and they had a firm date scheduled to watch cartoons together. Well, not like a date, just date as in the expression, as in, like, an appointment, but not. I mean, surely Marinette didn't think these little cooking outings were mere appointments, right? Yeah, totally. This not date wasn't an appointment, but it wasn't a date. They were hanging out as friends. That's the plan they made. Ah, yes, that's the term. Making plans. Phew. All of that emotional turmoil to define what was happening led him here. Good. No little heart flutters here. Not here, not today. Those were because he was getting used to a new environment. But now he was all but adopted by the Dupang Changs, so there was no reason to feel that flutter. Well, it wasn't much of a flutter anymore. The last time it happened, his chest all but seized and he had to turn around and count to 10. Did he have feelings for Marinette? This was nothing like what he felt for Ladybug, and he wasn't sure how to label it. Marinette wasn't just a friend, but it wasn't like he was crushing on her. But you don't feel this way for a best friend, do you? It just didn't seem right to label it as such. Arrgh, whatever. He was an avid Marinette supporter. Yeah, friendship that doubled as an avid fan of who she was as a person. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Total sense. And she was part of his home, which is why she felt like home, so there was no need to confuse himself with their relationship further. She didn't make him feel like Ladybug did, so he definitely wasn't falling for her. The latter truth was a relief, because there's no way he'd be able to win over her affection in the first place. That, and if he didn't end up with Ladybug in the endgame, what was all his past suffering for? Marinette's laughter brought him back to the living room, like a bell voiced by a fairy. "What are you thinking about?" she asked, leaning in closer like she was challenging him. "You didn't even notice I stole the whipped topping." He looked down, his cheeks flushed from his thoughts, not her teasing, to see that she had, indeed, stolen his whipped topping. Cat sighed happily, letting out a small grunt as he stood up with his plate to replace the theft in the kitchen. Marinette followed him in, still giggling. Cat picked up the can of whipped cream, looked at his plate, then glanced at Marinette's plate. "All right, if that's how you want to play it, then game on." He shook the can and sprayed it, his shot landing squarely on target. Her waffles. Except, well, he didn't stop. He kept his finger pressed as she squeaked and then laughed in surprise. When her laughter turned to protests, she tried to move the plate away. Her mistake. The cream kept going, hitting her forearm first before causing a mess as she dodged. "Cat, stop! Are you serious right now?" He met her question with a laugh, taking a strawberry and chucking it at her as a garnish. She caught it with lightning reflexes and charged him, pinning him against the fridge as she tried to crush the berry into his forehead. He had her by the wrists, but she had the position of advantage for this battle. Except, well, her face was close to his. Like, super close to his, and apparently he was the only one hyper-aware of this fact. Oh, Camembert. He could smell her shampoo and had to tear his eyes away from her freckles. He stopped resisting, letting her smash red onto his forehead. He may have imagined it, purposeful or not, but it felt like she lingered there. Was she making fun of how his cheeks matched the berry? "I win," she said softly, stepping back. He hadn't realized she was on the tops of her toes when she pinned him. Oh, Camembert, she was cute. No. No, 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 no! I'll clean up, he said, voice hoarse as he turned his attention to the plate. "I'll help." "No!" His response came up louder and more desperate than he wanted. "Go, start the show. I want to reheat my plate, so I'll clean while the microwave's running." She paused a moment, but didn't press. "I'll see you in there, Cat." He exhaled slowly after she left, making sure it wasn't too loud. Wow. Okay. That was unexpected. He'd never had a heartbeat physically hurt him the same way one did when Marinette had him pinned to the fridge. Oh, this was trouble. Trouble Cat Noir couldn't afford. He closed his eyes, pulling out the same boards and nails he used for his mother, and started boarding up an artery running into his heart. Cat wasn't going to lose his home again. Not if he could help it.